This is an after-school program podcast.
Welcome to the Home Studio Hangout podcast, where we explore what it's like building, running, and working out of a home studio with your hosts, Joshua Matotek, Andrew Simmons, and many guests in different areas of the music industry.
And welcome back to another episode of the Home Studio Hangout podcast. My name is Drew. I am super excited to be here with you today for our last episode of Mindfulness Month here in August. I think at the time you're listening to this might technically be September, the first week in September, but I'm recording this in August, and so I'm considering this the last week of August. So today, I just kind of wanted to go ahead and give us some encouragement and thoughts about being a creative and moving forward in your creativity as we move forward through the back half of the year. Whatever your creative endeavor, you got this. You can do this. All right. You can do it. Like, I don't know if it's art. I don't know, like painting or drawing. I don't know if it's music. I don't know if it's video work, singing, being in a band, being a solo artist, whatever it might be. But I mean, you can do this. People have shown through with much less professionalism and much less tact that they can make it happen. Why not you? So we're going to go through a couple points today on proving the fact that you can do this and kind of getting yourself in a mindset of moving forward well. Firstly, be honest with yourself. All right. Where are you at? Like, for real. Where are you at in your journey as a creative, as far as your talent? Where are you at in your journey as a creative as far as your notoriety? Just be honest with yourself. Take a second and just like really think about, like, how do you need to push yourself? How do you need to get better? What are some ways that you can better yourself so that you can make the most of your creative journey? And a lot of people have, I think we talked about this a little bit about this in the first week of Mindfulness Month, having an abundance mindset. There's plenty of room at the top. There's a ton of people doing a lot of great stuff in different niche markets, all over the world. There's tons of people doing this. And why not you? Why can't it be you, right? If you're willing to put in the hard work, you're willing to show your creativity and do something in a unique way, there's room for you at the big boys table, at the big girls table, at the big person's table, at the top shelf of the professionalism when it comes to creativity. But a way that you need to go about getting to that point, right, is being honest with yourself, like we said. But another one is being clear about your goals and your expectations with yourself. Have you written your goals down? What are your expectations? Do you want to make tons of money and never have any problems again or anything like that? That's kind of, I don't know, that's probably like an unrealistic expectation. Next year, do you want to be, living large in $1 million mansion, driving a fancy sports car and all that stuff? I mean, could happen, but realistically, let's lower our expectations just a little bit and make some realistic expectations and goals. Let's write out what do I want to be in a month? What do I want to be in 3 months? Where do I want to be in 6 months? What do I want to be in a year? Where do I want to be in 5 years? Let's start in those areas and write down a goal for us to set with our creative journey at each of those places? What are some things that you would like to see? And those will shift as you go. Maybe as you may complete your 1 week and your 1 month and your 3 month. And then after 3 months, something might change. So that might shift what your 6 month or year or 5-year goal looks like. That's okay. Like, you can choose to go down different paths. That's not a bad thing. Like, be flexible with yourself in changing what you want to do. That's okay. I do it all the time. I know I want to be in music, but how I go about that looks different for me all the time. I know I want to produce, but who do I want to produce? I'm just doing as much as I can right now to see where, what picks up steam the quickest. I think you can do the exact same thing in any, medium, whether that's art or video or music or photography or whatever. I feel like you don't have to tie yourself down to doing one thing in the beginning. Be flexible with yourself and set your goals with the anticipation of those are probably going to change down the road. Another thing is, with those goals, be ready to put your head down and work. Be ready to push yourself as much as you possibly can. I do it a lot, and I'm probably, the next point is don't overwork, which is kind of contradictory to the point that I'm making. But I feel like there's a time to push as hard as you can, and it's realizing when to push 100%, right? Like, when you're trying to move something, it's like trying to fight the ocean current, right? There's at some points the ocean's pushing against you, but at other points the ocean is, it's going with you. Well, ideally, if the current's going against you, you just need to rest so as to not tire yourself out. But when the current's going with you, you push all your strength extra hard to get as far as you can, so that when the current's pushing against you and you're taking a rest, it's not, you might be moving back a little bit. You might be getting set back a little bit, but then you're fully recharged and ready to go 100% the next time that current moves with you. So just for instance, you might get a great opportunity to work with a bunch of clients back to back to back. Push yourself, knock it out, do the best you possibly can. And then directly after that, take a break, maybe take a week off, take a couple of days off. Just sit and be thankful that you got to do that stuff. And then set yourself up so that when the next moment comes along similar to that, you're ready to go and push hard and push fast and get everything done at the highest level of excellence that you possibly can. So those two kind of work together. Another one, and this is one of the last ones that's kind of getting near the end, but something that I've learned big time over the last couple years is, it kind of feels lonely doing this creative journey. You kind of feel like you have to sit in a room like this and just do whatever you need to do. And that's a lie. Don't work alone. I'm constantly collaborating with people. I'm constantly talking to people. I'm constantly getting new ideas. Even if it's just listening to podcasts every now and again and taking in that information. Try not to do this completely alone. Try to collaborate with people. If you're not great at something, bring somebody onto the project that can do that thing better than you and collaborate with them to make that project better. It provides quicker growth, and it doesn't burn you out nearly as quickly. Your longevity is going to be doubled, tripled, quadrupled, and not working by yourself. So yeah, try to bring in some outside help, bring in some people to work alongside with, collaborate with other producers, other songwriters, other players of things, other mastering engineers, mix engineers, depending on what your job is. Like, get people involved with your process. Josh and I specifically want to see you succeed. It's something that me and him talk about all the time, is that we want to see the people that listen to our stuff, that consume our content or whatever. We want to see them making, first and foremost, great art that they want to make. And secondly, make some sort of living off of that, right? Like, that's kind of the goal here, is we want to be able to do what we want to do for a living. We want to be able to make music. We want to be able to make videos like this. We want to be able to write a short story. We want to be able to do photography, whatever it might be, sing, travel the world, tour, whatever it is. We want to see you guys do your thing for a living, or even just part-time, to where you can have a small part-time job at a coffee shop and work there 10 to 15 hours a week, and then the other 15 to 20, 25 hours a week you're working on your business, and you're part-time in one thing and like pseudo full-time part-time in your main thing, and you're just using the other thing to keep consistency. Like, I would love to see more people take on that position, to prove to themselves that they can do the thing that they want to do. It's a huge step. It's a step that I've made 3 times, I think, in my entirety of my career. I've shot to full time, and then something's happened in my life where I've had to pull back, but I've never not been full time in, once I started going full time, I've never not been full time in audio. And not having the ability to go, I want to go work at a place to ease the stress of the monetary stress of needing that money all the time, or, providing for my family. I feel like is a huge deal. So we want to see you guys win. We want to see you guys get to that point, maybe even to the next level, where you're working 100% full-time freelance in your own company, doing your own thing, doing your own job, and your own productions or songwriting or what it might be. We definitely want to see you win. So in that regard, feel free to reach out to us. We love talking about this stuff. For real, we love talking about this stuff. We have found that a lot of the people like that we have met in higher up positions, they're so nice. There are people that kind of suck, but in general, people that make it in this kind of space, the creative space, they make it because they're good people. Like, they're great people to be around. They're nice. They look out for each other. They're willing to, stick their neck out for a new artist, a fellow artist. There's a big community. You can find community in the artistic space, whatever it might be for you. Specifically for us, it's more audio focused. There's a huge community in the artistic space of bands and producers and songwriters and different kinds of artists, and within that, still videography and photography of people that kind of do both. I feel like we need to come together and lift each other up as fellow creators, so that, going back to the other point, that we don't necessarily feel alone in this, that we can grow together and we can get better quicker. We can provide less burnout. And who wants to be on top of a mountain alone, right? I would love for all my friends to be with me celebrating all of our wins together rather than being 100% by myself in my big empty house with all my cars and no one to share my stuff with or hang out with. So let's do that. Let's get out there and lift each other up moving forward for the rest of 2021. All right. Thank you so much for listening to my little spiel today. This will be the last episode of Mindfulness Month, and we are moving into a really great episode and a couple more interviews we have lined up with me and Josh together again. So the one that's coming out next week will be the beginning of that, and that's very exciting. We're actually going to talk about the writing session we did last month in July, this being August, the previous month in July, down in Atlanta with our good friend and podcast guest Lee Rouse. We get to talk about that whole experience and kind of what we learned from that. It's going to be super fun. So please make sure you are subscribed everywhere, whether that's you're listening on a podcast platform or you're watching this on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, and so that way you don't miss when these episodes drop, and make sure we all grow together, like I said. So thank you so much for listening, and to end off Mindfulness Month, keep on creating. See you next week.